Hi, good afternoon to Dr. Hamza. My name is Toh Qi Qi. I am from Group B. My group member have Najmi, Filzah, Hanani, and me, Toh Qi Qi, Azlan, and also Boon. Today, I represent my group member to explain about the mechanism in this game. The Mist of the Last Bell. This game is a 2D atmospheric adventure horror side-scroller game. The Mist of the Last Bell follows a high school girl named Qi who finished her club activity later than her friends because she is in duty to clean the club room that day. She realized that by the time she finished everything and start heading back home, it is already 7 p.m. On her way to the school entrance, she noticed something different. The school is dark. Only the red glow of the light that comes in is from the red Boon outside of the school offer any respite from the quiet darkness of the school hallway. She tried to walk faster, hoping that she will see the school entrance, but only a long school hall in front of her. This is where the nightmare begins. Let we see about the gameplay. This is the main menu of the game. And when we press the help menu, here will show how to play the game. Okay, let me start the game. The player is playing as Qi. Player goal is to go to the school entrance and try to escape this never-ending nightmare. Since she is from the Kendo Club, she pulls the wooden sword that was used for her training. She can use the sword to fight and kill spirits and monsters that are trapped inside the school. She also needs to solve the brother and rider in the game, helping a spirit or required to find an item or key that leads to her escaping the school. Sometimes she also needs to choose the right and suitable thing to say that can lead the ending of the game. Okay, here is some gameplay of the game. Now let me stop and let me explain about the mechanism in this game. Here is the key, you can see. You need to find the item like key to open the door. Okay, let me go to the mechanism part. First mechanic is player help. From here, we can see player health is 100. Player will die when the health turn into 0. So when the player get the damage and until 0, player will die. This machination is about the player attack. The player basic attack value is 10 and the enemy health is 30. So when player attack, the enemy health will reduce. This machination is explained about the potion mechanic. The potions will provide 50 health to the player, and a potion will be consumed if used. So from here we can see the player have 100 health, and when the player get the damage, the health will reduce, like the graph you see. Then when the player receive the potions, the health will increase. These machinations is explained about the common enemy health. Common health enemy is 30. Common health enemy will be die when the health turn to 0. So when the enemy get the damage from player and the health turn to the 0, the enemy will vanish. Okay. This machinations is explained about the common enemy attack. Common enemy attack value is 20. Player will receive 20 damage every time the common enemy attack. So when the enemy attack will produce the damage 20 and the player will receive 20 damage. This machination is explained about the nerd's health. The nerd is a type of the enemy in the game, and its health is 200. The nerd will die when the health is turned to 0. Okay, we can see when the nerd get the damage from the player, the health will reduce. Then the nerd will die when the health is down to 0. This machination is explained about the nurse range attack using scissors. The nurse attack type is range, and the nurse will throw scissors to the player. First, the nurse has 3 scissors, and we see. So when the nurse throw the scissors to the player health will reduce. The scissors will reload again if the nurse still alive. This machination is talk about the crown health. The crown have 300 health, and the crown will die when the health is turned into 0. So now you can see the crown is receive the damage from the player, and will die when the health turn to 0. This machination is explained about the crown range attack using balloons. The crown attack type is range, and when the crown throw the balloon to the player will receive the damage. And the balloon will reload again if the crown still alive. This machination is explained about the long leg attack. Long leg is a final boss in this game. From here, we can see long leg produce 15 damage, so the player health will reduce 50 health. This machination is explained about the stair or door interactions. Here we can see when the player enter the press enter key, it can open the door, or player also can press enter key to upstairs or downstairs to change the level. This machination is explained about the pick up object or key. Object and key can be interact in the game. Player will enter the key on the keyboard to interact with the object. Interacting with the object or key will change the scene in the game. Like here, when we press enter key, we will pick up the object or key and then we will change the scene. Here is show the dialogue system next slide and options. There is a dialogue system mechanic in the game. Player will get to interact with the dialogue by pressing the key. Same dialogue will have choice to pick from. Some dialogue also will change the scene in the game. Like here, Some dialog is just press next button to the next line. Some dialog will have two options. So based on the user options, we'll change to the different scene. This machination is show about the running mechanic. Player is running around and every 10 interval distance will encounter enemy. The enemy does not attack on every encounter. Once the enemy attack the player will take the 20% damage. If the damage is taken 3 times, the game over conditions will be triggered and the game is over. This machination is about the walking mechanic. Player is walking around and every 5 interval distance will encounter enemy. The enemy does not attack on every encounter. Once the enemy attack the player will take the damage by 20%. If the damage is taken 3 times, the game over conditions will be triggered and the game is over. This machination is about spell auto restore. Player is given 11 health points. When the player take damage from the enemy attack, 4 health points will be taken away. Once the health point is less than 5, it will trigger the auto kill. 3 health points will be given. This machination is about the combo mechanic. There is 40% of chance the combo will miss and 60% of chance will hit the enemy. The number of combo attack will be counted. Every combo attack will deduct the enemy life by 2 health points. Once the enemy health point turns 0, the enemy die condition is triggered and the enemy is defeated. Now I will explain about the defense mechanic. There is 60% of chance the attack from the enemy is defended by the player, while 40% of chance the attack will hit by the player. Every attack from the enemy will deduct 2 health points of the player. Once the health points turn 0, the player die condition is triggered and the player is defeated by the enemy. Here is a bad ending mechanic. When the next button is clicked, there is B dialog and 2 options are given for the player to choose. The 2 different outcomes will face by the player, either fine or good ending or end up having a bad ending. The bad ending conditions will be triggered when the player chooses the options that lead to the bad ending. Here is about the jump mechanic. There are two types of jump can be done by the player, normal jump and double jump. The normal jump is around 30 and lands on the same height, while the double jump is a double normal jump, 60 and will be land in the two states. This machination is about the level progression. When the game starts at the level 1, the player have higher chance to move on the level and lesser chance counter with enemy. However, the chance of completing start to decrease as the level progresses because the chance of counter with enemy has increased. If the player attacked by the enemy, life will be deducted and will have to restart the level 1. If the player pass level 1, he will progress to level 2. Here is level 1, here is level 2. At the level 2, the chance of counter the enemy are higher than level 1. However, there is still high chance of the player to complete the game. Once the player life turn to 0, it will trigger the game over condition. This applies to both level 1 and level 2. Let us see the simulation. I will start again. I pass. Now go to level 2. And complete the game. This machination is show about the pause mechanic. At the main menu of the game, when the play button is clicked, it will start the game. During the game, player can press the main menu and also click to the main menu. In these situations, the game will be paused when the player click the pause button. This machination is show about the exit game. During the game, if the player want to exit the game, player can hit the pause button. Then the game is paused. Player hit the exit button to exit the game. Once the exit button is pressed, exit function is triggered and it will quit the game.